Hey, what's up, guys? Max here. Let's talk about season 22. Had some thoughts already. And if you were in the live stream, you kind of know what I'm about to say, okay? But let's cover on the big announcement. There's a lot to cover, but we're going to first start with how this event's going to work and how you're going to want to add points to this event, and then we'll cover more and as we go along. Here is basically how you're going to be getting points. You're going to get points just like we do now. You use energy for the fights, you get points. You use elder marks for the fights, you get points. So here's a matchup, a good example. If you use elder marks in the victory track, you're going to get 45 points. If you completed the match in the victory track with elder marks, you get 23 points. And then for completing a match in the victory track, I guess that was it. Yeah, so you're going to be getting a good chunk of points for just using elder marks, as always. But one thing to point out here is that if you use your elder marks, Kabam has made it very clear there, in the gladiator circuit, you're going to get a lot more points for using those elder marks. And that is probably the best move, wisest move to do as a player if you're trying to maximize your points when it comes to the event. Whether we'll talk about why you might want to do that, but that is probably going to be the best move. Go into the gladiator circuit, use your elder marks. Now, that's a good move from Kabam. The way I see this, farming still exists. I know we don't really cover it or talk about it that much, but it still exists with alliances having really pretty high minimums at times, or players wanting to contribute a lot towards their alliance. You're gonna farm a bit. It's unavoidable. You're gonna do it on the victory track, which is the most easiest. Not staying there like 3 weeks of farming, because then you would pretty much cause a red flag. But you're going to do some farming, and then you're going to do more farming in the gladiator circuit. So Kabam, what they're doing, I think, in this move is they're trying to motivate players to hey, we know you're farming, but let's farm in the gladiator circuit. Here, look, we're going to give you more points, reward you more points. And ideally, that's better for all players in the community, because when you're in the victory track, it's going to be the matches are going to be really, really easy, as opposed to the gladiator circuit, bigger accounts, more players, more skill involved when it comes to that. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to definitely farm. But as you can see, Kabam is rewarding more players for using elder marks in the gladiator circuit as opposed to the victory track. So just the difference right there, as you can see it, 45 points for using elder marks in the victory track, but 90 points for using it in the gladiator circuit. So huge payoff difference between those two. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that pays off. Hopefully we get good information and Kabam gets good data to kind of maybe keep this going on for the following seasons. But this is going to be, a one-time thing for season 22 for now. We'll see if it sticks to help on the farming situation. I think this is a good move. But all right, so this is how you get the points. We figured this out, right? You use energy, you use elder marks, you're going to get points, and ideally get more points in the gladiator circuit too. So let's take a look at what those points are going to give you. So once you contribute a certain amount of points, as a player, this is going to be the columns, and this is going to be the payouts for the entire season of 22. So if you contributed 100 points, and the entire gaming community of Marvel Contest of Champions and Battlegrounds has 20 million points as a combined player base, we're all going to be able to get some 6-star hero shards, signature stones, some elder marks, and some trophy tokens. So that first line item is what we're going to get. Again, you have to hit that minimum of 100 points to be able to qualify for that, okay? You don't have to do 20 million points. But as we keep playing, again, I do feel like this is going to not take off immediately. But we'll see if it does take off. I have my doubts right now on it, but this is how it's going to work, right? And as you can see, some of the juicy items and the milestones are going to be as below. I think the biggest, if you're going to if we see momentum go, this is one of the strategies you might want to take. We know how it works. We know hopefully you understand how that works, right? Your points contributed. The points contributed as an entire community towards the event is what gets us that qualifying line item. But here's the strategy I think most of us are going to be taking, is that the T4 alpha fragments are going to be the most valuable ones. So if momentum does pick up, I know it won't at the beginning because no one's going to be using elder marks. It's just not wise to use it in the victory track, right? You guys saw that earlier. But once you start using them in the gladiator circuit, people start playing more. We'll see if we do reach this number 13 or number 14, 15, 16, all the way up to number what is this, 6? Let me cover it with my face cam up to number 16. So the T4 alpha fragments are going to be basically important because that gives you a full fragment. Now, we do have to hit 750 million points, which is quite a good chunk. And so I'm interested into doing that. And ideally, if you want to get into that qualification, if as a community we do reach it, you yourself have to contribute 3,750 points. Yeah. Right? Am I mistaken that? Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to see the lines. Okay. Yes. You do have to do 3,750 points. Ideally, whether you're using elder marks or not, you're going to want to do that. The one thing that this seems like a lot, and it seems like I feel like not that many players are going to push, but there's a reason why I'm doubtful into how I was feeling yesterday. I felt that way yesterday when we were talking about this, but I do feel like there's probably going to be a bit of contribution through some players that do contribute a lot. But I mean, one player it's not going to give 1 billion points. It's not going to happen. It needs a joint effort from all of us, from all the players, to really get this going. But here's the reason why I think some players will push. Okay, so these rewards, let me get in game right now and show you kind of how those rewards did get a good buff. So when we look at currently Battlegrounds, which we can do rank rewards. Let me bring this down. So rank rewards, number 1 player gets 10,000 Titan shards, 15,000 7-star shards, some 6 stones, right here for the 7 stars, 10 of them, and then they get this what I called junk, garbage, 6-star materials, man. We don't need awakening gems, we don't need 6 stones. All these 6-star shards we really don't need, but Kabam has kind of finally heard us out on this one and giving us a lot more stuff. Okay, so they're not giving us any 6-star materials anymore. They're going to give us 6 stones, 7-star 6 stones, more shards when it comes to the 7 stars as well, and then some more Titan shards. So here you can see we're going to get the first number 1 player, just to keep it simple, compare that. Number 1 player is going to get 30 generic 6 stones as opposed to getting only 10. They're going to get 30,000 7-star shards as opposed to only 15, which is kind of like 2 7 stars, right? And then the big reward, I feel, it's between the 6 stones and the Titan shards is going to be 20,000 shards. Now, the payout compared to what your investment is not worth it. We know this. If you're going for number 1, you're going to be spending at least 3 to 4 Odins and Elder Marks, and you got to be really good to hopefully those ratios are really high in your favor to get a lot of points. So, if Kabam were to sell you for $400 to $500, 20,000 shards, 30,000 7-star, some 6 stones, you're gonna be like, no way, I pass. But that's kind of the interesting thing about how that number 1 placement always works. It's super expensive, but I think for most players that just are not going to push at that point for the number 1 spot, being in that say top 70 of players, getting 10,000 shards, getting some, getting some of those 7-star 6 stones are still kind of be really good valuable, even though they're not going to be generics. There's going to be crystals for RNG. Still going to be okay as long as you're not spending too much when it comes to your units into this event. Keeping in mind that we're just around the corner from a major event, holiday event from Kabam, that's kind of going to drain your units. But again, you do you, right? You're going to spend there, you're going to spend here too. So this is why I do think players are going to be spending at least a little bit when it comes to the event, just to be able to hit these milestones, because they did get a buff. They did get a buff, and it looks a lot better, and it is nicer compared to what it was now. So just to do a simple comparison, right here, the 31 to 100. It used to be 4,000 Titan shards right here, 31 to 100 right here. And then now it's 10,000 Titan shards. It was 12,000 7-star shards. And now it's 24. 6 stones worth 10, and now it's 30. So again, it gives a good reason to push individually. Hopefully that turns out that a few players, again, it's not that, it's only a handful of players compared to the larger portion of the community. That's only gonna be 200, 300 players pushing. where the community needs a big joint effort to really hit these big giant numbers of millions and millions of points. So we'll see how it plays out overall, but ideally that's how this event's going to work, and those are the rewards. And as we kind of go further down, one of the coolest things I think we're going to be seeing is, and I think and it was a concern too, and it was brought up, was the emote. The emote that we're going to get is this one. This is not the concern, right? The Silver Surfer dabbing, that's kind of cool. The dab, we haven't seen one of those in a while. So there is a 7-star Deathless piece in there, so make sure you're playing it. This one, the one that everybody I feel wants, I wanted to kabammed. So if you manage to play against and beat a Kabam employee, you will receive the Kabam emote, which will be given out at the end of the seasons. Get ready to be kabammed. So if you beat somebody, we talked about some names that we know that exist, players that are players but also employees from Kabam that do play Battlegrounds and are very skilled and very good. So those are the names we tossed out, but 4 people, we've mentioned 4 people for the entire gaming community, that doesn't seem right. So we'll see if more people come out from different alliances, more people change the name tag, or you might start noticing hey, hey, there's a Kabam employee in my alliance. When are you playing so I can just jump on? So we're definitely going to be, I know there's going to be sniping. A lot of sniping is going to try to happen when it comes to trying to match up an employee from Kabam. So that's super cool. I think the emote is going to be cool. I definitely want to get it. Hopefully I can match one of the girls over there, and then and beat them. That's the first thing is matching them. The second thing is beating them. So yeah, man, what do you guys think though so far on the event? Here's the other thought when it comes to the event. This is kind of cool that we're getting a lot of items kind of stacked, but I feel like here's my final thoughts. I feel like most players are gonna take a break onto this event, just because I said it before, when it comes to the game, it's playing in an alliance, and it might take some reworking of how we look at the game, because I know Kabam is wanting to go this direction, when it comes to contribution of all of us contributing towards a giant goal. We've seen that happen already, but I'm for it. I'm definitely for it. I like the idea, and I hope that it catches on and it does gain momentum. But I do believe that alliances are going to be the foundation of moving and competing, so alliances need to have rewards, for competing. And so, and it gets at least 30 people against another 30 people, or it gets a couple of hundred people trying to compete for that number one or a couple of high spots, so we see that happen in game modes like Alliance War, Alliance Quest, Battlegrounds now. So I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. I still feel like people are going to take a break though for this season, and they're just not going to push. And they're just there's going to be a handful that will, because of the solo rank rewards. But overall, I'm doubtful, but hopeful that we are going to get to the final milestones. And we'll see. Only time will tell, as we I think for sure, halfway through the event next month, we're going to be able to see, just like we're seeing right now for the Realm event right now that we have when it comes to the crystal cleanup, bruh, this one's supposed to be take off, right? I myself, haven't really contributed any points, but how many days do we have? 14 days left, and we're not even close to the final milestone, guys. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I know this is crystal cleanup. It's more annoying than Battlegrounds actually playing, because it takes forever to open crystals. I tried, and it's so bad. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on the event. What are you going to do? What strategy? What kind of thinking you're thinking about it? But yeah, it's kind of cool. A little bit of a change up always helps, and it always feels good, I think, especially in a game mode that you enjoy and like playing. So yeah, take care, guys. See you guys on the next one. Peace.